Hello everybody, welcome to another session of Scuba Talk. My name is Scuba Dave, and today we're going to talk about the different cameras that are out there. Now I'm not talking about the big cameras that you'll see guys use, that have the multiple strobes and all the different lights, okay? I'm talking cameras that are going to be for the person that just goes and dives and just wants pictures pretty much for themselves, okay? So that's the focus of this week's session of Scuba Talk. We'll be right back. So we're talking about the different cameras that are out there, and I have a lot of students that ask me about the GoPro versus the knockoff cameras, and then the different mounts that you can get for them. So the advice I can give is buy whatever camera works for you, that fits your budget, and that you're happy with the photos or the videos that you get. If you decide to invest because you really love taking really good photos and you want your photos to sparkle and to be a knockout, whoa, that's a photo of Dive Illustrated or whatever, okay? Then I suggest, save your money or whatever and buy a nice setup. My best friend and his wife, they each have really knockout cameras, but the photos they take are just priceless in my opinion. The color, the detail are just incredible, okay? So that's what you have to look at. For me, when I take my photos, I just want nice photos that I can share with my friends or potential students that ask me, hey, what's it like down there? Then I can, I whip out my cell phone or I'll send them an email with some photos. Every once in a while, if I feel I get a good picture, I'll put it on Facebook, or I might even put a little video on YouTube. But it really is up to you what you want. Don't let somebody else tell you how to spend your money, okay? For example, now I'm in the San Diego County area, okay? So prices in your area could be different, and depending on what part of the world you live in, prices could be a lot more extreme. So I'm going to start off with what I started with, which was a old camera. We didn't have GoPros back then. Back then, GoPro wasn't around, so Sea Life was a big manufacturer. And this is a camera, one of the types of cameras that I started out with. Okay, it was digital, but even before that, we had film camera, and that was the actual first. I just don't have any film cameras left. I've gotten rid of them all because digital is definitely the way to go. With film camera, you'd get down there and say you're lining up on a starfish, really colorful starfish. You're lining it up and you hit that shutter button, and then all of a sudden a surge hits you. You never knew what the photo looked like. So you better take at least 5 to 10 shots of that one item that you really wanted, right? Otherwise, when you go to get them developed, you may have a lot of blurred pictures, or maybe you didn't have the coloring, or not the coloring, the white balance set correctly. So back then, unless you were really good with a camera, a lot of photos never turned out, and you'd be like, oh well, have to get them on the next run. But when digital came out, this is one of the first digital cameras that I got. It was made by Sea Life, and it took the bigger card, and I think you put like a 4 megabyte or 8 megabyte card in there, and it would take a lot of photos for you. So because I came from the film era, even with digital, and I still tell people today and my students, take 20 pictures, right? Take your time, enjoy the dive, enjoy what you're looking at, and take some photos. Because out of those 20, chances are there's really only going to be one or maybe two that you really like. The rest, you delete them. And with the digital cards nowadays, you can store hundreds upon hundreds of photos, right? Even if you wanted to shoot video, okay? This little camera back then, I could switch it over to video mode, pop it, and I could take some video, okay? But the video wasn't very good. I mean, it was good enough to see, good enough to do what you wanted to do, okay? But nowadays, compared to nowadays, the video wouldn't be that good. I didn't have the different filters in our water here. It's real green, so we like to use a magenta filter, okay, to offset, okay. So back then you didn't have that. So unless you were really good at editing, everything came out real green, okay. So that was the first one. I believe these cameras are still around. You can still buy them. They were inexpensive. I think I paid $199 for this way back when. But I'm sure they have newer models. Basically the same type of camera, just newer and updated technology in it. But that was the first camera I used. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with these cameras if you decide to get one. Okay. All right. So then, as time went on, I got tired of lugging that thing around, and I thought I wanted something a little bit better. So then I went out and I found the knockoff GoPros. I couldn't afford a GoPro back then, and I wanted something, so I found these knockoff GoPros. Okay, I hope the camera's picking it up pretty good, but it's HD 1080p, and if I can get it out of here for you, give you a better look at it. But it would come with the water housing. It would come with the float in case it came off your wrist or you lost it. Okay. But it was just, it's going to be, there we go. But it's just a knockoff GoPro. I shouldn't even use the word GoPro. It's just a knockoff, okay? And, you know, I thought it worked okay. You know, it was pretty cool. If I was going through the surf, right, I didn't have much to hold on to. I didn't have a whole lot to worry about. And these I was picking up for about $30. By the time I put a memory card in there, okay, I'm at about $40, okay? So, and I always thought, well, if I lost it, it's not that big a deal. It's only $40 compared to $200 if I lost it. This one I would cry. This one I'd just go and buy a new one. So, they worked okay. And at the time, I thought, they're good enough. You know, I don't mind sharing my pictures. I always thought they were not the best quality. Even though they said 1080p, I felt that they weren't the best quality. So I got to where I wouldn't put them on Facebook. I wouldn't share them with my friends. I would put them in my phone. And if anybody asked, hey, how'd your dive go this weekend? You got any photos? Then I would show them a photo. Okay? And you could see it in their face. Really? Wow, that's what it looks like under there? Man, I don't want to go dive, right? And again, I couldn't find filters for this, for a magenta filter. I even tried to buy some magenta film, and I would cut the circle out, and I would stick it in. I would stick it here, try to simulate having a magenta filter. Sometimes it would work. Sometimes I didn't have it perfectly sat in there. And then with these, the moisture sometimes built up in there. You know, different days, different, you know, weather conditions. I might get a little moisture in there. So, you know, it worked okay for a little while. I was happy with it for a while. And then a couple years ago, my wife really surprised me, and she went out and she bought me a GoPro. She bought me the GoPro 9, the black, and the difference, quality, the difference in pictures, everything. Now, when you're shooting video or a still picture with this knockoff, okay, or even with my old style, you have to be careful, because if a surge hit you, right, you'd get moved over. If you were shaky as you're swimming around doing a lot of this, it would show. There's no stabilization in the knockoffs. Now, maybe nowadays there are in the more higher price knockoffs, but the ones I was buying, you know, I didn't know a whole lot about cameras back then, and I really didn't care. I was more of just a diver to go dive, but I always wanted something just to take a photo, right? And so that's why I was buying these. but there was no stabilization, and the white balancing. Some have white balancing capabilities, some didn't. Okay, but with the actual GoPros, you could actually white balance, and you can actually the stabilization. Now, I don't know about the predecessor GoPros before the 9. Okay, so I can't talk about that. I'm only talking about the 9 because that's what I have. Now the 10 is out, and I haven't even looked into that because I'm really super thrilled with just my 9 for right now, and it does everything and more that I want. But the photos of it and the video that comes out is really incredible, and I can buy the filters that go on to the GoPro. It comes with a water housing. So if you do decide to buy a GoPro, make sure you buy the filters that fit your individual water house or your housing. Okay, your underwater housing. Because there's different manufacturers out there, but the filters are made for their particular underwater housing for the GoPro. They're not all the same. Okay, so you really need to look and figure out, okay, which one do I have, which filters am I going to buy, and then that's what you do. And they really do make a difference. It even got so far as now I take this on day trips, like if we go to the zoo or the animal park, or we go out just for a day of whatever. And now I've even went as far as I bought filters for when I'm out in the sun. Okay, it really will help you with the colorization, and it'll make your photos or your videos pop, as they say. So now let's talk about, we talked about what cameras I had. In a moment I'll show you what lighting I use. Oh, hold on, I have another, I got one more mount here. Okay, now let's talk about the underwater housings, or not the underwater housing, the mounting brackets that you're going to use. Okay, so there's several different types of ways that you can use your, whether it's a knockoff or whether it's a real GoPro or something across those lines. Okay, that's all that I'm going to talk about. The big cameras have different things that you can mount to, and so you'll have to search those yourself. I'm only talking about like the GoPros and the knockoffs. Okay, so now let's talk about what are we going to mount the camera to. Okay, well, when you buy if you buy a GoPro, they give you, it's like a handle, a stick. Okay, and the underwater housing mounts on. You put the bolt in, and there you go. The handle will float. It also has a wrist thing. Now I use a lanyard, not a retractable, but a coil lanyard, and I'll affix it to this, and then I pin it here. That way, if I want to let go, I can just let go of it. I don't want it pinned around my wrist in case I need my hands for something. I want my hands free, but if I want to let go of this, I can let go, and the coil lanyard is going to hold it right on my D-ring. Okay, that's how I do it. So they have these. These will come with your GoPro if that's the way you purchase it. If you purchase a knockoff, okay, they will give you one of these, and these are also floats. If you let go of it and it goes to the surface, it'll turn upside down and it'll bob. Okay, so you're going to get these type of handles when you buy a camera. Okay, but I wanted a little bit more because I needed to hook a light to my cameras, whether it be a GoPro knockoff. I needed a way to hook a light. With these type of cameras, I had to get an extension tray, had to get an arm with the flash, mount this onto the tray, and then you take a cord. It's a flash sensor, and the flash sensor goes over your flash, and so when you fire it and the flash triggers, it triggers this one to flash. So that's how you would get your lighting under there. Okay. So, but things have gotten easier because now I can take my handle with my mount, and then I have my light. This is my dive light, and it's got the, get my hands here, it's got the two little things that will hook in like that, okay? And then I put the bolt in there, and then I can put my camera on top, okay? That's one way of doing it, okay? And then when you get home, of course, you break everything apart, thoroughly wash it, right? And it'll be good to go for the next time. Or if you want something maybe a little bit different, I don't know if it's going to be easier to handle, but I went out and I got a tray. And what happens is you take your camera and one of the pieces that you get will sit here, and it'll put the prongs up. You'll mount the camera in here like this, okay? Put your bolt in, that secures the camera, okay? And then you got slides that you can put in the top, and now you can have one or two lightings because they'll mount right here on each side, okay? So then, now you've got dual lights and your camera. And these lights aren't too bad. Yeah, I don't want to shine it directly in the camera, but if you had two of them and you're underwater, it'll light up pretty good, okay? And if you want to signal your buddy at night, okay, I got the flash where I can set one of them and point the camera at them if I wanted to. Okay, and these are all rechargeable, and that's what I liked. Compared to the days when you had these, and everything took either AA or AAA, and you'd fire it off for the beginning of your dive, and you'd look at it and say, yep, batteries look good. Halfway into your dive, batteries are gone. Now you just lost half your dive, you can't video, can't shoot anything. With the knockoff video cameras and the actual GoPros, they'll last a long time. I get probably at a constant videoing underwater, I could probably get an hour before the battery starts to go dead on me. With the lights, I probably get a couple hours out of them. So yeah, you can even use these if you lose power in your house, right? Grab it, turn it on, and set it somewhere, and now you got some lighting in your house. Another ways to mount your cameras is they make the masks, okay? And you can either put a light there if you want. Say you're night diving, you can put a light there, or you can put your camera in there. Now, a lot of people go to the masks for the simple reason they don't want to be herky-jerky with the camera. And I totally agree with that when you're using a knockoff camera. Unless your camera has some stabilization to it that you can set, then yeah, I would go with something like a mask or something that's going to pin and stay on your BCD or something like that. Because you will get a little herky-jerky under there, and sometimes can make your little videos look funky. So they do make several masks. Here's a couple that I own that I've used. They work okay. At first I thought they might make your mask feel like a little heavy. Never bothered me at all. Never caused a leak or anything. So if you want something like that, I recommend it. You can even take a knockoff camera if you wanted and put on your mask and maybe use your GoPro on a selfie or vice versa, and then you can really get creative with your videos, right? You can add 2 different camera feeds. But those are just some of the ideas that I have that I wanted to share today. That a lot of people have asked me, do I need to go out and buy a real expensive camera? And the answer to that, the bottom answer to that is, what do you want from your photos and from your video? It's like buying a car, right? You go out and you bought the car that you wanted. You bought the car that fit your budget, okay? And everybody in the world's going to come up and tell you, oh, I would have bought this, or oh, I would have bought that. That's fine. If they had the money, yeah, let them go buy it. But they're not buying it for you, correct? So you should be buying what you want what you can afford, and what kind of photos or videos you expect to get. And what do you want to do with them? My best friend and his wife, like I said, have really nice cameras. I'm waiting for the day to where they maybe sell a couple of their photos. Some of them I have seen just really blow your socks off. They are beautiful. And they put them out on Facebook. So if you ever see them, be sure to give them a thumbs up. Their photos are just immaculate. And there's tons of people out there that take great photos. So kudos to them. So for this week, my name is Scuba Dave. Please feel free to leave a comment below. Let me know what you use. Let me know, are you a photo person, a video person? Do you like to share them? If you do, even put a link down there so we can go see some of your work. We'd love to hear from you. But if you want to still keep emailing questions to me, that's fine. My email address is scubadave94@gmail.com. And please feel free to hit the like button, give us a thumbs up, and ring the bell and subscribe. That way you'll be notified when other videos come out, and you'll be the first to get them. And if there's any other topics you would like us to cover that we haven't already covered, please feel free to leave that in the comments or email me, and we'll see what we can do and to get those out for you, or if you have questions. So for now, this is Scuba Dave saying, have fun, be safe, and keep diving.